we've had to bounce between a bunch of things just so we can chat about them. So first off, I think the biggest one here is easily God of War.
Yes.
I've only played about 3 hours of it. You've played much, much more.
Sorry, your screen froze. Hilarious.
Oh,
Let me just fix that quickly.
You've played much, much more than me, but as per the guidelines of the embargo currently in place, we are only allowed to talk about essentially the first 3 to 4 hours, or kind of where I am.
I think it's like 4 to 5 hours-ish.
Yeah.
Which is enough time to
And it feels like it's
a...
just where the game is starting to kind of open up.
Yeah. So I
sort
can't
of like if you've
that.
played the first game, it's not really at its Lake of Nines moment, if that's...
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't even know if that moment ever comes because I haven't got further than this. So
yeah, but I mean, just to recap, and the original God of War was very not handholdy in a bad way, but like literally a linear. This is how the game works. There's some story beats for a long time before, like you said, Lake of the Nines appears, and then the game kind of feels like it opens up. So
that thing only happened like 7 hours in, which was insane.
Far in.
Like it was like, oh, this is the start of the game. Okay, cool, I get it. Yeah. But yeah, okay, so going into this, firstly, we can't show footage.
No, but I have a loophole. I can show trailers, surely.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, that is a trailer.
Bam! Footage for you video watchers.
I knew going into this that it would be cool. This is God of War. We've established what the new take on God of War is in the previous game. And now Ragnarok is kind of just an extension of that. It's a bit more. And I don't mean to sound negative when I say it is that game, but more. It is like, no, it is that game refined in a way. That's the sense that I've got from it so far.
Well,
it's like, this is familiar, but it is honed in on what makes it good.
But it's interesting because I think leading up to, when this game was first revealed, and in the months, I suppose the year that followed, because it was revealed quite a while ago, I think you and I had the same sort of concerns of, you can't just, is it just going to be more God of War? Like, I think that was our discourse, and not only just us. I think everyone's like, God of War 2018 is such an iconic reinvention of this franchise. How do you top that?
Yeah.
And in the opening hours, I had this thought of, like, why do I put that expectation on it? Because God of War 2018 is great. Like playing. So I had every intention to replay the original before diving into the sequel, but time just slipped away from me to review games. But playing this game, I'm like, shit, yes. Like, God of War 2018 is so good. Like, I don't really think they need to change much. Like, of course, in terms of story, whatever, we're going to get new beats. I'm sure there are twists and surprises throughout the game, but in the opening hours, it really feels like you kind of you almost pick off where you left off, if that makes sense. You just, like you know how the game works. And if you don't, like, they do onboard you with, some basic tutorial stuff. But Kratos still has his good axe. You've got the Leviathan blade, the Chaos Blades pretty early in the game.
Axe, yeah.
Leviathan axe and the Chaos. And it's actually quite funny because it can be a bit overwhelming at first because you're like, oh my God, I have so many options from the get-go.
I definitely felt that at the beginning because it kind of throws you in with like the expectation that you've played the first game, firstly, that you played it, and that you're familiar with it still. Because it's like, you've still got these weapons and you need to know when to swap between them and how they all work. And it does feel slightly overwhelming at first. But then it's like I feel like it's not sloppy, but like it's far less like in world, the way that it introduces a lot of the stuff to you. A lot of stuff, it's like popping you to a menu, which is fine. Yeah. It just felt a bit jarring. And I think that's because they're like trying to relate tons of information to you very quickly. They have to fast track it. Because,
I mean, one of my favorite things of the first game is how the damn controller got so much use. Like, I couldn't believe the further I got into the original game, the more stuff I was unlocking, and then it's like, okay, now you need to push this to do this. So like a good example is, okay, you've got Atreus, he can attack, tap square to have him attack. Okay, now he's got a summon ability, so you hold square, he'll do something else. And it drip fed you the stuff very well in the original game. It just like kept expanding and expanding. And in the opening it's like, you can do all of this stuff just about. Here's a lot of menu stuff.
Yeah.
This is how it works in case you forgot it. And like, yeah, you're right. It does pull you out a bit, but I think they're just trying to fast track you because like, I don't know how you do it any other way. Like in terms of narrative,
I agree.
It'd be funny if they pulled like that with every classic God of War of like, oh no, Kratos has lost all his god powers.
I'm so
again.
glad that they didn't do that because I was wondering, like, because that was a big thing. Because it's like, if this is continuing on, like, surely they're not going to be like, oh, Kratos and Atreus just fucking forgot everything they learned like a few months ago. Like, surely not. And they haven't, which is good. But I can see how challenging that is now. Like, cool, we need to onboard potentially new players to this entire system that has been defined in a previous game. And also remind, returning players that, this is the stuff you could do. Because it's been 4 years since you last played this game, potentially. So, yeah. But it's good though, yeah.
All that said, it is a God of War sequel. It feels and plays very similarly, but I think you're right. And like even saying it's refined, I'm like, is it? Because 2018 was so good anyway.
Yeah, there's not much there to refine.
I'm like, I can't tell you, they've done this and that just drastically improves things, whatever. But it is that good combat. So in terms of narrative, Atreus is a little bit older. He's like
much taller,
a vibing teenager now, living his best life.
Do they actually define how much time has passed since? It seems like just a couple of months. Like I don't think it's been that long.
Because he feels like he's aged a fair bit. So like I don't think it's been years, but it hasn't been like 6 months. Maybe it's like a year or two. Again, don't hold me to that.
Could be. They don't. I don't think they specifically define that. So unless we've missed that in marketing or some shit.
But yeah, it's real good. Like those opening hours again. It's a thing of I was expecting like, oh my god, what are they going to do to like blow me away? But playing it, I'm like, they don't need to. Like this is more of what I enjoyed from the original game, and the original game was really good. Like one of my favorite games of all time. Again, like I don't know like what twists are happening. Like I know I've played beyond what I can share in the preview, but there's still things I'm dying to have questions answered. So I'm very eager to see how the story plays out, because this is public knowledge that this is the definitive end to this saga. This isn't a trilogy. The story ends here, and what they do with it, we don't know. Like
they've said this is the end of the Norse.
Norse, yeah. So where do we go next? Who do we go with next? Like I don't know.
Which gods do we go piss off next? Roman gods?
Which gods do we go piss off? Oh my god, Roman gods will be very similar to the Greek gods.
Indian gods?
I don't know. There was a stage when Egypt was in the cards before.
Egyptian gods? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see Kratos go toe-to-toe with fucking Ra, the sun.
Yeah, but I think we can't share too much beyond that. I think our initial impressions, it's exactly what we've said. Game feels good. It's fun to play. But we will have a review in line with the embargo. I don't know if we can share that, but if not,
I'd rather just not. Yeah.
In case we can't,
considering how this embargo has been broken so many times around, I'm just not going to like. Even
that account that's been sharing screenshots and stuff, not me. Can guarantee not me. Yeah, but it was nice. Where's my proof? It was nice to get this code early, and I'm grateful because I think this game is long.
Yeah, so, I mean, the sort of hours you've put in have kind of like surprised me, because I seem to recall the first game being that long. I guess it also depends on how much side content you engage in.
Too much.
But yeah, it means I've got a lot of catching up to do, put it that way.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, it's I'm having a good time so far. It's familiar in a good way so far. But at the same time, I can see the little pockets of improvement, like the combat's been improved, I think. A lot more options for you to play around with. So enemy variety is improved. It also feels more challenging. I mean, you playing on a harder difficulty to me. I'm just playing on the stock standard one. And boy, I'm just like, am I shit at this game? Like, I don't recall being this bad at it previously. What the fuck is going on?
You'll find that the more you play, and I know this is like a dumb, very obvious thing to say, but like the more you play, the better you'll get, and or the more you'll remember that muscle memory. Because I had the same thing. So I'm playing on, I think the difficulty is called like literally give me God of War. It's like, oh my God.
Oh my God. That's like the hardest one.
The hardest one. So I'm getting hit once or twice and dying. And so I was dying a lot, and I still continue to die a lot, but
that's
it is amazing how
sure.
I love it. It's too good. But I do find that the more I play, the more muscle memory kicks in, where I'm doing things I'm like, I didn't even think that. It just happened. Because like I'm now remembering, oh, this is how I do this combo, or this string of attacks really works well against this enemy, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's. I think the game is challenging, but yeah, over time you learn to use all the options they give you, because boy, there are options.
Boy, you say.
Boy. What's his face? Kratos doesn't say boy as much.
I know.
I don't even know if he said it once in those first few hours.
Don't think so.
I mean, he might have, but
I don't think he has.
It is nice in the opening, like literally the opening moments. There's a part where Atreus walks into like call his father, and they get on the sled and they ride off. But just before they get on, Kratos puts like his arm on Atreus' shoulders, like, oh, like he's a father. Like it's
none of that bullshit from the first game where he's like slowly reaching out and like not.
Like how far we've come. Like there's definitely, I mean, you'd expect it obviously because this is set slightly in the future, but there are inklings of the relationship has.
There's a lot of growth. Yeah,
there's a lot of growth, but obviously with it comes some complications, and
of course,
Trace is a teenager.
He's also, the things he found out at the end of the first game were quite like transformative to what he thinks his future should be.
Exactly.
And so, it kind of like shapes who I think he is and what he's looking for. And Kratos, I think, obviously, being very protective as a father is sometimes very resistant to those sorts of things. Yeah. So, yeah.
And
also, the opening is fucking sad. Oh my God.
Writing is great. Still peak.
I 10 out of 10 cried at that opening. Jesus.
That came left field.
Just fucking came out of nowhere, and I was like, oh my God.
Right in the feels.
It's good.
But yeah, we'll definitely have a lot more to say in the near future. So yeah, keep an eye on our social channels. Or just come back to our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Excellent.
Look at that mid-show plug.
Shh, don't tell anyone. But yeah, so that's the early hours of God of War Ragnarok. It's out November 11th?
11th? Yeah. So it's soon.
I don't know. It's got different launch dates around the world. I think like in New Zealand, it's the 8th or 9th of November, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. I don't know. Don't quote me on this, but yeah, it's coming soon. Like
I think it's not this week. It's next week, Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stay tuned.